everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. So, I've been spending the day just doing stuff around here and also keeping up with all things foodie beauty because there has been some stuff that's been happening. So, let's do a quick recap of things that we already know about. So, Chantal, being in Kuwait, being the grifter scammer that she decided it'd be a good idea to take a kitten away from its mother and use it to grift money off of people. Did she receive money? Yes, she did. She received money on YouTube, but also through PayPal. And over in Kuwait, accepting donations for any reason is against the law. So she was breaking Kuwaiti law while in Kuwait. That's a big no no. So she broke the law and she did live streams breaking the law, just providing evidence for those who want to know. And people were telling her in her live stream, don't do it, Chantal, leave the kitten there with its mother. She didn't listen. But the kitten was taken back. The kitten was rescued along with its mother and sibling. Paws Kuwait got the whole family, uh, gave them medical treatment, gave them food, and now they're going to be fostered possibly with somebody in the United States. So there is a happy ending for Bruce and his family. Chantal, not so much. So while she was live, one of her beezers let her know that Paws Kuwait had made a post saying that they were going to file charges on Foodie and reported to the government what she did. And she freaked all the way out during that live stream and said, I got to get out of here. I want to speak my mind. I got to get out of here. In my opinion, I think after that live stream was over, she took the next flight home. Ever since then, Foodie's been quiet. She hasn't gone live, but she has been extremely busy on her community post. So wherever she's at, whether it's Kuwait or Canada, she's somewhere where she can't go live. If she's in Canada, because she's not going live, it feels like she might be with Aunt Phyllis, or she might be over at her parents' place because they told her, no live streaming over here. We don't want the backlash. We don't want any trouble. So she might be staying with mom for now. So she might be in Canada. Chantal in her community post, she's been rather arrogant. She is taunting Paws Kuwait, taunting Kuwait itself, just being awful. Another thing that happened, it would seem that some beezers are going over to Paws Kuwait's Instagram page and making Islamophobic comments, really hateful comments. And you'll see that in the Twitter peeps. Before I started this react, while I was still on Twitter, Peetz is live right now. And he pretty much almost confirmed that Chantal is in Canada. He told on her without telling on her. And he seems rather excited about something. So we're going to get into all this stuff, y'all. All this stuff. And I have a feeling that Chantal's going to go live real soon. It could be late tonight. It could be tomorrow. Every day that she's not live streaming, she's losing money and she needs to make money to get a new place or to get the place furnished or just to have money in pocket. She needs to go live. She doesn't go live, she doesn't make money. So we might be hearing from her real soon. She might just be taking some time right now to chill out, do some edibles, party a little bit before she decides to go live and give us all the tea. So you guys know what time it is. It is time for the Twitter peeps. All right, it's time for the Twitter peeps. Let me just make sure I am where I need to be. There's just so much stuff to go over. Chantal is just not shutting up. She's just making post after post after post, but yet she's not going live. She knows people are wondering where she's at, and she's making everybody wait. All right. So for those of you that are on Twitter that would like to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, Wild Girl Sarah. And for those of you that don't want to be on Twitter, that's why I do the peeps, to keep everybody updated on all the shenanigans with Foodie Beauty. So here's the first post, courtesy of Kristen, saying Foodie Beauty seems pretty confident. She is probably in Canada. So this is one of many community posts that Chantal has done today. She says, now I am being compared to Vitali, who literally purposely antagonized police and broke the laws knowing what he was doing. He didn't try to help a dying kitten. Big difference, morons. The haters are just salivating with hard-ons, hoping on a downfall or jail or someone so sad. You all need help. Anyway, ain't gonna happen. Well, Chantal, let's talk about this post. You are purposely antagonizing the Kuwaiti government. You're antagonizing the law because you have broke the law. You broke the laws over there. And as far as you trying to help a dying kitten, the kitten wasn't dying. The real vet from Paws, Kuwait confirmed that the kitten was not dying. That was just a story that you were telling your beezers to try to get more money out of them. You were trying to paint a picture for the sake of more profit. So that's just one of the posts, y'all. But yeah, like the last few posts from Foodie, she seems rather cocky and arrogant, like she's feeling herself because she feels like she got away with something. But did you? Did you, Foodie? Like, think about the attitude that you had when you took the kitten from the park. You celebrated a little bit too early, didn't you? You tend to do that. When you think you got away with something or that you've got a great idea and you're making money, you celebrate, but you don't wait. Because you got the kitten and you got the money, and then all this stuff happened, and then you had to leave. So here you are celebrating a little bit too early, don't you think? Moving on to your mom's emotional support carrot, saying Chantal is bleeding funds by not going live, receiving super chats, or posting videos. The grifting beach will be broke soon, and we will all know Salah's business earnings can't sustain them. We'll soon see. She cannot remain silent and will tell on herself soon. Oh yeah, she will. In a way, she's already kind of telling on herself with the community posts. She's letting a few things out of the bag. I don't think she's aware of it or not, but she is telling on herself with the attitude in her posts. It feels like she might be back in Canada. Like the arrogance is off the charts. And if she managed to get out of Kuwait, to get on an airplane that night when she found out that charges were going to be filed by Monday, she's going to be feeling herself. She's going to be feeling like, I got out of Kuwait before I got in serious trouble. And she's going to be coming on live, and she's going to be just running her mouth about Salah, about perhaps Kuwait, all that stuff. All right, so The Angry Scott says, so she's in Canada. Thanks, Peetz. Kristen says, Peetz is live, and he didn't say there isn't tea to spill about Foodie. He just says that he isn't going to be the one to spill it. You know, let's watch the clip. I've got thoughts. Let's watch the clip.
All right, so I'm just going to say right out, just say flat out, you're not getting any tea. Like, for anyone who's expecting me to spill some big revelations about Chantal, it's not going to happen. I'll do everything in the week anyway. I mean, assuming Chantal can keep herself from spilling details before then, yeah.
You know, is it me, everybody, or does he have a bit of a smile on his face? He's got a bit of a smirk going on. Like that's a little secret smirk that Peetz has got going on. And you know what, Peetz? Maybe you're smirking because you and Chantal have been talking. Maybe you worked something out, or maybe you're still holding on to the hope that you two can live together again, and you can be up in a bedroom and she can be live streaming and paying all the bills and paying on the rent, just like she did when she was back in Canada before. If you move in with Chantal, you are the biggest fool alive. I guess maybe you didn't learn your lesson. With all the times that she cheated on you, that she lied to you, she ruined your credit, she put you in debt, you just keep inviting trouble back into your life. But if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I mean, you're a grown man, you can make your own decisions, but that energy you got right now of she's back in Canada and there might be a possibility of the two of you moving in together. If you think it's all going to be tea and roses, it won't. But you'll learn. Maybe one day you will learn. Kristen says, when asked if he'd be Foodie Beauty's roommate again, Peetz said this. Let's watch.
Like, if I were able to get a... If I'm able to find like a full-time job, then sure, I'd be open to it. If she wanted.
I don't know if you have a job right now, Peetz. You got that large inheritance. I suspect that you gave Foodie at least some of that money. I don't know how much, but I think you gave her something on her last trip back home to Canada. You gave her something. But the fact that you just said that if she were open to the idea of living together, I'd do it. Why would you? Why would anybody with someone like her? She is trouble on two legs, and you know it. That's the dumb thing. You know it. You are familiar with that kind of stupid and chaotic. And you're going to walk right into it? That's what you're going to do? You're going to invite it back into your life? He loves her. He loves Foodie. She is, unfortunately, not only his favorite person, but his only person. He's not even considering being with somebody else. It's really sad that she can cause the chaos that she's caused in his life, and he just keeps inviting it back. That no matter what she does, no matter what she says, no matter how many other people that she wants to be with, he's still waiting for her. Rather than going out and making a life on his own and being independent. Well, Peetz, if you don't have a job and if you don't have money, I don't think that Chantal's going to have much use for you. Especially if she's coming back and if she's got plans to hang out with you know who. She's still focused on you know who. Has always been focused on him. Like she is completely addicted to that man. She even said that once. I am addicted to this man. She's never said that about you. You are just a walking resource to her to use at will, and you allow it. You allow that to happen. And as long as you allow it, she's going to keep doing it. But if you don't have money and if you have nothing to offer, then she's not going to care about you. But you go ahead. Florida Salt and Sass says she's not making any friends on that account either. So what is this? I believe this was connected to the Paws Kuwait account. And there are some of the comments saying, saw your article online. FYI, she's Canadian, not American. Although every Canadian I know doesn't claim her either. Another person says, I've never seen a rat in Kuwait ever. Another one says, weird. I'm in Kuwait for 15 years. I've never seen rats here. Where does she live? This person says, not gonna lie, I lived in Kuwait like I was born there. I've never seen even one dead or alive rat ever in life, and there aren't trash people. Will not stare at you. Some of them will stare at you, but they are mostly kind. So yeah. So remember what I said, y'all, about Foodie. This is getting a lot of attention. There are different organizations beyond Paws Kuwait that are taking notice of Foodie. A lot of them. She wanted to go viral. She might go viral, just not for the reason that she wants to go viral. But in Foodie's mind, that's probably winning. Attention is attention. Fondue Spider Beach says, as mad as I am that she got out of Kuwait, the more I realize she can't hide in Canada and is an open, wide target, taunting the community for years. I'd be scared if I was her. Well, I don't think anybody's going to walk up and do anything physical to her. But while she's in Canada, if she's in Canada, she still has to worry about her bankruptcy. And if she hasn't been making payments, this is a problem, because the government is still going to want their money. And they haven't forgotten about that just because she's been gone a while. They're still going to want it. So she's going to have that to deal with. And there might also be the possibility that just because she's left Kuwait, it doesn't mean that the charges have gone away. I mean, the Kuwaiti government might work with the Canadian government to, make her face the consequences. Fondue Spider Beach says, Foodie Beauty, can you imagine you target Chantal to get you to Canada, live with her for 2.5 years, only to find yourself in hot crap over your wife's shenanigans? You never should have forced Cutie to go to that picnic in the park. Yeah, about that. So if Foodie is not in Kuwait, if she's in Canada, you guys will see in the Twitter peeps, Paws Kuwait, they're going after Salah now. So Chantal made sure to get the heck out of there, leaving Salah alone in Kuwait to deal with whatever's going to happen. So she left behind Salah, she left behind Julia, and it's like, see ya. She true narcissist, looking out for herself, not caring about what she leaves behind. She just probably packed a bag and went and said, Salah, see you later. You deal with stuff. Like, here's part of the message from Paws Kuwait. Let's see. Within tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And now we are after her husband, Salah. Now we are after him. So he might have to deal with some stuff. Foodie left. Or I think she left. If she left him holding the bag. Now he's going to have to deal with stuff. This is the price you pay for dealing with Foodie, Salah. Do you get it now? She leaves a trail of destruction in her wake. There's all kinds of people that can attest to that. No one who ever knew Foodie was ever made better for knowing Foodie. Every single person that she's ever known was made worse for knowing her. And she's been hurtful to every single one. Do you think you were going to be spared? Oh no, you're just collateral damage. You're just a meat byproduct to be tossed into the trash. She's done with Kuwait. She's leaving you behind. She's going to be leaving Julia behind and going back to Canada. She's got a safe place to go. You, not so much. Mary Beth Wiley says, Foodie Beauty, please continue to be smug. I really think it helps your case. Don't worry about abandoning Tall Pete. Someone will crap on him in jail. And there's a community post. Kristen says her infamy precedes her. So this is another account, Love in Kuwait, that did something on Foodie. So word is spreading, y'all. Word is spreading about Foodie all over the place. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I know Chantal is going to think that's a good thing. She's going to look at that as winning, but is it? Is it winning, Chantal? We'll see. We'll find out. Fondue Spider Beach says Foodie Beauty keeps spitting the community and running your big mouth. Guilty people don't flee. Yeah, exactly. So if you did nothing wrong, Foodie, why flee the country? Guilty people don't run. Excuse me, sorry. Guilty, innocent people don't run. The ones who are guilty do run. You ran as fast as you could. As soon as you found out about those charges, you ran. And you've been quiet. Why so quiet? If you're in the right, why are you so quiet? Because you're scared. Or you were. Maybe now you're back in Canada and you're not feeling so scared. You're acting like a bratty little girl. Ha ha, they can't get me. Can they though? Can they? I mean, Kuwait could easily pair up with the Canadian government and charges could be filed. So just because you ran from Kuwait doesn't mean you escaped anything. D. Angry Scott says, Foodie is still going, still raging on the community tab. She even dropped the R word on us for classic rage effects. Yeah, she used that horrible word again up here. She says, okay, last post. Yes, the kitten was in need. The vet told us that. Easy to prove it. Once again, it wasn't a vet. It was a pharmacist. You people are so the R word. I'm not responding to your stupid comments. I swear you all share one collective brain cell. Chantal, what? Listen, you got stuff to say. Why don't you go live and say it? Why are you being cowardly? Just go live and say stuff. What are you waiting for? You're not making money on your community posts. You know that. You said you don't do anything on YouTube for free. Well, you're doing stuff on YouTube for free right now. Okay. Perfectly Imperfect says, I knew she'd run to Canada. Mommy must have bailed her out again. That could be a possibility. She made a phone call home to mother and Shmi bailed her out. But here's the post. She says, imagine being a supposed professional charity organization and you spend all day listening to trolls on the internet and running to file a case against someone for using donations they received to help a kitten in need and then threatening to go after an innocent family if they can't get me. Yep, nice professional behavior. And then they wonder why anyone would want to flee. Rule number 1, Chantal lies. Rule number 2, she tells on herself. She just told, this is her telling on herself. So are you admitting that you fled the country, Chantal? Is that what's going on? I bet you did. Because that live stream that you did, you were genuinely scared and concerned. I think you got on the plane that night. I think so. Milker says, Foodie's real brave, posting from her mummy's spare room where she isn't allowed to go live. I know. Imagine feeling brave hiding out in your mom's house. Okay. Mama Whale 7 says she doesn't care if they go after Salah or anyone else as long as she's good and in Canada. She will throw literally anyone under the bus for her own well-being and not think twice about it. Right. Like she saved her own butt. She don't care about anybody else's. She doesn't care if something happens to Salah, if something happens to Julia. Collateral damage. Big deal. She left that stuff behind. I mean, are we surprised? She was in Canada. She had her roommate, Peetz. She had Sam. She had BBJ. She left all of that behind. Why wouldn't she leave behind Salah and Julia? Why not? She's got a history of that. Just gathering things and people to her, keeping them around as long as it suits her purpose, And then if they don't suit her purpose, she puts them in the garbage can. If something happens to Salah, oh well. It wasn't like she was in love with him. Who cares what happens to Julia? Julia was just a street cat. Julia didn't even like her. Why would she care about Julia? She's probably at her mom's house right now, chilling out, and maybe thinking about, when I go live, what am I going to tell people? She's probably working out in her mind the details of the questions that are going to come and the answers that she's going to have already prepared. But she just threw Salah underneath the bus. Sure did. Malarkey Meter says, so you're 100% guilty. I don't ever want to hear anything about I see a criminal when I see one. You left another cat and your husband to run from something you didn't do. Okay. Right. Why run? It wasn't like she was going on a visa run, just a regular visa run, and she was going home. She only wanted to go home after she got in trouble. The guilty always run. Now check this out, y'all. Lean in and look at this. Sandy the Rack Quesadilla says the farms noted that the chunk of time between her last round of approved comments and tonight's community tab fiasco was just over 14 hours, roughly the same amount of time as a flight from Doha to the Montreal area. How about that? So if a flight from Kuwait to Canada takes 13, 14 hours, that would track, wouldn't it? That would absolutely track. That she was going to keep her mouth shut until she got back home. All right, this is cool from Animals Going Something. Who needs a working dog when you can get a working chicken? So this chicken is standing on business. Like, I lay eggs, you produce milk, I win. Chicken's like, do you know who I am? Do you? Chicken is not putting up with any mess. Come at me, bro. Come at me. That's funny. A chicken intimidating a cow, saying, you think you're bad, I'm badder. I'll chase you off. You don't know who you're messing with. You better walk the other way. F around and find out. Okay, back to Foodie. This is another post that Foodie did where she was essentially telling on herself. Kelly says, is Foodie Beauty hinting that she's back in Canada high AF? But I won't be shocked if she goes live from Kuwait. So this is like a weird post that she did. She said, LMAI, I know I'm taking a break, but I just heard the funniest song lyrics ever from the Guess Who. Don't give me no hand-me-down shoes. Foodie's not exactly a fan of the Guess Who, but I imagine that's music that her aunt or her mother listened to. So are you saying that you are hanging out with the aunt or mom right now, Foodie? And then this person over here is making the comment saying, girl, I know the edible is hitting you right now. So where's the place that she gets edibles? In Canada, because she can't get them in Kuwait. So she's tossing out hints already where she's at. Perfectly Imperfect says she approved this edible comment. She's in Canada. I don't know. You know, I'm reserving judgment because Chantal likes to play that misdirection game with Girl World. She does. She likes to play the misdirection game. I'm going to lead everybody into this direction when I'm actually going in the opposite direction. But if she goes live, whether it's late tonight or tomorrow, just by the background, we're going to know she's somewhere else, if she is somewhere else. I don't think she would be at the apartment. If she's still in Kuwait, she's not at the apartment. She's got to be maybe in a hotel or a motel room, like she's hiding out from people. She might be home. We'll see. We'll find out. She can't stay gone forever. She knows that. We know that. We're very aware of that. Perfectly Imperfect says she's in Canada and already high. She won't be able to stay away. Nope. Nope. She might be getting high to prepare for going live. All right. DX says, this is a freaking disaster. My God. Smeardrop says, voice messages to me from Paws, Kuwait. They have been nothing but kind, honest, and open through this whole thing. So here's some of the voice messages. I guess this is the text version of the message. Because Foodie was claiming that Paws Kuwait was making fun of her weight. I saw the message that was posted. I didn't see Paws Kuwait making fun of Foodie's weight. But Paws Kuwait said this in reply, saying, no, we never did. And we never will make fun of her weight. How she looks like and whatever, it's irrelevant. How she looks like and how much she weighs. We notified the authorities and have already been, one complaint's been submitted to the social affairs, and it'll be forwarded to the public prosecutor, inshallah, within tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And now we are after her husband, Salah. We are after him. Let her say whatever she wants to say. If she's really in Canada, if she's really not innocent, not guilty, then why run away? She should stay. She should face the charges. She should submit all the invoices I received that she claims that she has, and face the charges. Okay, I'll confront all the charges, but instead she fled like she's telling. She's saying that she's in Canada. Why are you fleeing? Why are you fleeing? That means she knows what she did and how much money she made out of the animals. She knows. She knows very well. That's why she flipped.
No, we never did. And
So that was the response to Foodie claiming they were fat shaming her, weight shaming her. And here is the example of one of the Beezers being Islamophobic and making hateful comments. This was posted on Paws Kuwait. So this person is saying this. I don't want to read it out loud. This person also says, this is the Muslim way. Foodie Beauty saves the cat. The blank organization says they saved the cat. And the Muslim is throwing crap towards a strong Canadian woman. So clearly this was a watcher of Foodies, a subscriber of Beezer. They're just making the situation worse. Much worse. Saying things like this. You know, Paws Kuwait, they're about helping animals, and they go about things the right way. They have to, because of the laws and regulations, they have to. They're doing a good thing. But calling them terrorists, using hateful language, is that the way to support Foodie Beauty? I don't think so. It's a really bad look. And shame on that person for saying those awful things. Perfectly Imperfect says, a private DM, not the evidence you think it is. DX says, great. So Chantal is planning to countersue. This is her evidence. This is the screenshot that Chantal provided. This person says she will use the money for cat food, but she only uses it to buy food for herself. And all they said was, yeah, I can see that. That's all they said. Yeah, I can see that. They weren't making fun of her body. They weren't making rude comments about her weight. That wasn't a hateful comment. That wasn't the gotcha that Chantal claimed it was. Nothing hateful about that. Kristen says Foodie Beauty is manic. I don't know. We'll see about that. Enigma 2025 says Chat GPT on loophole marriage. Chat GPT says there are no legal loopholes for a Canadian citizen to marry a Syrian man in Kuwait while on a tourist visa under Kuwaiti law. Here's why, and what limited options might exist around this situation. What are the options if you're on a tourist visa? Convert to a residency visa. If the Canadian wants to marry in Kuwait, they would need to transfer to a work, family dependent, or a student visa and obtain a civil ID. This often requires sponsorship, e.g., by a local employer or spouse after marriage abroad, or to get married outside of Kuwait. If residency is not an option, many couples travel to Cyprus, Georgia, or Turkey for a civil marriage. These countries allow foreign nationals to marry on tourist visas with fewer restrictions. So she didn't do that. In Kuwait, a Canadian citizen cannot legally get married on a tourist visa. Here's why. According to Kuwaiti law and court requirements, marriage can only be processed through Kuwaiti courts if both parties have valid Kuwaiti residency. A tourist visa does not count as legal residency. The family court will not accept marriage applications from foreigners on a visit tourist visa. Kuwaiti family court Sharia law requires both parties to have valid residency, a Kuwaiti civil ID, verified documentation from embassies and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. A tourist visa does not grant residency status, does not qualify for civil ID, is not accepted for processing any legal marriage application in Kuwait. So they're not married. They've never been married. There's no such thing as a loophole marriage, Chantal. But I'm sure all of that is going to come out if you're back in Canada now. You're going to talk about it. You're going to talk about it. Fondue Spite a Beach says, Foodie Beauty, so it was appropriate for Vitaly to get charged for crimes he broke, but because you feign ignorance of the Kuwaiti laws you broke in the country you chose to live in, you should have no repercussions. Nah, you're going to take this L. Yeah, like claiming innocence and ignorance and saying, I didn't know, doesn't count. Especially if the authorities take a look at your passport and they see how long you spent in Kuwait. The fact that you spent 3 years there pretty much. You can't just say, I didn't know. I just got here. You've been there long enough. You should know. You really should know. The ignorance is no excuse, ma'am. Hectic Llama says she explained why they put the kitten back as, quote, it's illegal to adopt a street cat. So which is it? Yeah, she made that statement. So she knew. Truth is, says, quote, we talked to a lawyer is exactly what she said after that awful video about Allah's wife. Foodie Beauty Chantal is stupid and a liar, and she knows exactly how wrong she is here, but is praying for a few idiots to believe her so she has public support. See, I told you she was busy on her community post. This is a lot to read, so I'll read it to you guys. She says, this is the last post I will make publicly about this matter. I am okay. Don't worry about that. First off, I don't in any way condone any Islamophobic threats to Paws Kuwait. I am not intimidated by their threats either. We also have consulted a lawyer and we will countersue as your public display is very unprofessional and we have screenshots of you making fun of my weight with the same haters you are listening to. The law states that you cannot accept fraudulent donations. We have proof that we spent those donations on vet care and supplies. Also, I offered to refund, so also not a scam since people who super chatted said not to return them, but to use them for what I want. It is not possible for a person to know every single penalty code and law in a country. We were trying to do a good thing, and for those making this worse, you are disgusting human beings. I hope you know that. Asking them to take Julia. On what grounds? She was not from the street, and good luck, you will take her over my dead body. Good luck. I am now taking a long break from social media, but just know I'm okay and not up to answering messages now. If trying to help a helpless animal is wrong, I don't want to be right. Also, nice job taking full credit for saving the cats. I am the one who sent you the pics and the case, but hey, whatever makes you feel complete. You're making this all public, which is also illegal to share private cases. The same trolls you are listening to only care so they can try to get me in trouble. They are the same ones sending you threats and talking bad about Kuwait. Well, I am not intimidated. Well, I don't think it's Girl World making threats or making Islamophobic, I can't say the doggone word, Islamophobic comments. There we go. It's the Beezers making some of those comments. Clearly, they're a Beezer if they're bringing up Chantal's name and showing support to Chantal. It must be a supporter, a subscriber. Who knows what else has been said? That was just one comment sent to Paws Kuwait. I'm sure there are more. But let's go over the post, Foodie, just real briefly, okay? All right. So, the law states that you cannot accept fraudulent donations, but you did. You did. You're not an animal rescue. You are not an organization. You had people send money to your private PayPal account. To you. And you're not an organization. You weren't set up in Kuwait to be an animal rescue. Paws Kuwait is an actual animal rescue. And you didn't rescue the kitten. You snatched the kitten out of the park, away from its family. So how exactly was that a rescue? You saw it was a kitten. You did not look around for mother cat or to see if there were other kittens. You didn't rescue all of them. You just took the kitten because the kitten looked a lot like Sam and you want to make money off of it. And then you started making ridiculous claims about the kitten is on death's door. It's got a lung infection, although no tests were done. And you took the kitten to a pharmacist, not a vet. You're making all kinds of claims with no paperwork to back up what you were saying. It is not possible for a person to know every single penalty code and law in a country. Chantal, it took Girl World all of like 2 or 3 minutes to look up the laws and regulations revolving around taking stray animals off the street and accepting donations for stray animals. So we could do it, but you couldn't do it. It's not that you couldn't do it, it's that you didn't want to do it. Even if you had known, it wouldn't have mattered. Your mind was made up. You wanted the kitten for a certain purpose, and no one was going to stop you. Asking them to take Julia on what grounds? Well, you took her from the streets. I know the story that you told us, but we also know that you lie. You took Julia from the streets. And she's been suffering ever since with you. Good luck, you will take her over my dead body. Well, you're probably back in Canada. Julia's still back in Kuwait. And I really do hope that she's with people that actually will take care of her. I hope that we hear that Julia is fine. It would do my heart good to know that she's being taken care of. God knows she didn't have a good life with you. She suffered with you. She hated you because you're a hateful woman. This part, you are making all of this public, which is illegal to share private cases. Here's the thing, Chantal. It wasn't a civil case. This is a criminal case. Okay? And it's the Kuwaiti government they're going to be dealing with you, not Paws Kuwait. So it's not exactly a private case. What the Kuwaiti government's going to do to you, I don't know. You may think this is over if you've gone back to Canada, but it's not over. Oh, it's just beginning. You may think that if you flee back to Canada in time, that you've escaped all consequences. You may not have. You may have to go in hiding again. But well, that remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. We'll see. Okay, so Ray's Dactylion says they have a lawyer to countersue Paws Kuwait. Paws Kuwait is not suing you, cutie. The government of Kuwait is prosecuting you. Right. Like Chantal's getting it all messed up. This is not about somebody suing her. This is about a country prosecuting her. There is a difference between a civil case and a criminal case. How is she going to sue Paws? It's stupid. Makes no sense. Enigma 2025 says Chantal can't afford a lawyer, not in Kuwait or in Canada. She's used that threat before. Threatening to countersue the government isn't smart. Salah should have known the laws if he was born and raised there. He initially told us no until he heard the sound of money. Yep, he was complicit. He was an accomplice. And he was dumb because he showed himself on video. He wasn't even smart enough to keep himself off camera. How ironic. All those times that he kept himself off camera, and this one thing where he should have stayed off camera and he didn't. So it's proved that he was an accomplice. He was a helper to all of the shenanigans. And now he's in Kuwait and Chantal's not there, or at least we don't think she's there. So if she's not there, he's left holding the bag, and he might have to deal with a whole lot of stuff that he ain't ready for. Indy says, LOL, I would love to see Foodie Beauty in court yelling at the judge that the only reason Paws is bullying her is because they're fat phobic. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see that too. Yeah, I know that I took money and I wasn't supposed to, but it all doesn't matter because they're fat phobic. Can you imagine that argument? The judge would throw the book at her. Mrs. Flupa Booty says, as your legal representation, I recommend that you post a semi-ragey community tab post and tell them you got yourself a top-notch lawyer. Yeah, exactly. Just tell on yourself. Tell on yourself some more. We love that about you. Just keep telling on yourself. Enigma 2025 says she's literally fighting with Paws Kuwait and the Kuwait government. This is the entitlement she thinks she has. You broke the law and committed fraud. What doesn't she understand? She is making threats, not smart. Let's look at more community posts. See, she was mad all day. There's just posts keep coming. She says, and I didn't catnap anything. There is no law saying I can't adopt a street cat and its mother wasn't there. When we saw she was, we returned it. Now we are never speaking another word and dealing in private, something I suggest Paw does. Ooh. Making a threat, are we? Trying to tell them what to do? Keep talking, Chantal. Keep writing checks that your butt can't cash. Florida Salt and Sass says, countersue? This isn't a monetary lawsuit, you numpty. You must have the worst lawyer then because they haven't explained civil versus criminal to you. Fines are not settlements. But I love that you're sticking around to defiantly play FAFO more. Get all of your marriage stuff ready. Yeah, what about that? What about the marriage certificate that might be just a bill of sale for all we know? Let's see. And she kept editing that post too. All right, so I think we're done with the Twitter peeps, but let me just stop the screen. I'm going to go check real quick. See if Foodie posted anything else or she's gone quiet. Just give me 1 second. I'm just making sure that there's no post before I cut this off, because she just Foodie. She's somewhere. She's bored. She's got nothing to do. She finally shut up. She finally got quiet. All right, so that's it for the Twitter peeps, y'all. Like, it is crazy. So she might still be in Kuwait. It kind of feels like she is back in Canada. Who knows? If she's back in Canada, though, she cannot be off camera for very long. She might just be decompressing right now, taking an edible, relaxing, trying to figure out what she's going to tell people, what she's not going to tell people. And then once she gets herself together, she'll come back on live, and then we'll figure out what's going on. So that's it for the Twitter Peeps recap. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.